In a previous video, you saw the toolkit that was put into play when October 7th happened. All of a sudden, all across the world, there were people who were protesting. And cleverly, they were using the same phrases, same posters, same graphics and everything. But the idea was not to call it as a pro-Hamas protest, but as a pro-Palestine protest. It took at least 4 or 5 weeks before people realized that, look, these guys are pulling wool over our eyes. This is really a pro-Hamas protest. And the closer the Israeli Defense Forces got to the Al-Shifa hospital, the rhetoric became louder. Clearly, they wanted ceasefire to take place. They wanted the IDF to not go into the Al-Shifa. And at this point of time, it is not clear how much of the tunneling portion the IDF has looked at or taken out. So we have to wait and see what happens there. But we are also seeing that many hostages are also executed. So whatever the number we had, 233, I think it is now more realistic, closer to 100, I think. I'm unfortunate, but that is probably one of the reasons why Israel said that, look, we are going in. Also, please watch this in conjunction with a video I'm going to be putting around this video with Sri PVR Narasimha Rao about the state of the world. What he says about what's going to happen between now and 2036. And he has been very consistent about this. So do watch his videos to get a better perspective of what is happening around the world. Is this conflict going to end anytime soon? We don't know, but he has a fairly good idea and that video talks about it. So do watch for that. We know now that there is a toolkit. Who really is funding that toolkit? And that's what we are going to find out today in this video. Well, it turns out it is none other than Neville Roy Singham. He's a US millionaire. He's a Marxist. He's the one who's funding anti-Israel rallies. Also his wife. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background about who this person is, how he became to be what it is, how he became a millionaire, and all that stuff that there is to know about it. Thousands of Palestinian protesters in US have chanted for the end of Israel over the last month, largely funded by wealthy American-born tech entrepreneur Neville Roy Singham and his wife Jody Evans. Where did they make their money? Singham has been the main funder of the People's Forum, which has co-organized at least 4 protests after 1,400 innocent Israelis were slaughtered by Hamas on October 7th. One rally in Times Square happened right on October 8th. They were ready. The toolkit was ready. And if I told you about the toolkit, how many chapters it had, how many website links it had, all these are fresh websites. So everything was planned. If anyone says that this was something like a reaction, no. That was proven when I published the toolkit. All the information about the toolkit, all the different links and so on and so forth. So who is this People's Forum? The People's Forum is based out of Midtown Manhattan and calls itself a movement incubator for working class communities at home and abroad to create unity across diversities. People's Forum hosts classes like Lenin and the Path to Revolution, praising countries like China and Cuba, as well as seminars like Healthcare Under Siege and Apartheid, blaming Israel for discriminatory policies and genocide in Gaza. One of the regular lecturers here is a Singham's friend, a Marxist intellectual. I have to always put these intellectuals as a double quote, Vijaya Prashad. Also, the forum's bookshop, 1804 Books, named after the year Haiti overthrew its French rulers, is stocked with hundreds of titles celebrating communist heroes from Karl Marx to Che Guevara. According to tax filings, the forum spent over 12 million in leasehold improvements to their office space. By the way, guys, when I was growing up, socialism, Russian influence was casting a large, huge shadow on all of us. I know many of my friends who were studying with me in high school and in intermediate, they went on to study engineering in Russia. They had to learn, I think, Russian for 2 years, and then they were paid all expenses trip to go to Russia and study there. Many who could not get into the entrance examination, who could not get into engineering, chose this route. This stuff is evil, guys. Also, you could get books this thick for free. In a time and age when there was no TV, there was just some radio, but there were no channels that you could, no cable of any sort. You only had books, and people got really drunk on ideology at that point of time. Why I'm saying all this is, Singham belongs to the same period as I do. The People's Forum sings from the same pro-China hymn sheet as its chief funders. Its executive director, Manolo de los Santos, appeared on a program on the YouTube channel of CGTN, the Chinese state-owned media group. Also, we have this person, De Los Santos, recently slammed this week's March for Israel in DC, calling it a pro-genocide march. I'll give you the reference document from where much of this content is taken. That's in the description section, so you can refer to it to read the entire document, while labeling its guest speakers racist and fake progressives. In a separate post, he praised the tens of thousands who attended the November 4th Free Palestine rally. We're going to stop calling it Free Palestine rally. This is essentially taken from an article, that's why the text is there. This is just pro-Hamas rallies. The People's Forum has received over 20.4 million from Singham and his wife Evans through a series of shell organizations and donor advisory groups from 2017 to 2022. You go and audit them, you will find nothing wrong, everything legit. The reason they are going to do these things is it is so easy to do this now. All it takes is some people saying that I want to change the world, I want the world to do my bidding, this is what I'll do. The other side might say, well, what about Mr. Bill Gates? Well, the point is right now we are discussing this. I'm not discussing Bill Gates. I'm not talking about his idea of vaccines controlling the whole world. I haven't done enough research to say one way or the other, but you see where it is coming from. Today there are methods that you can use to completely camouflage the original investor and to have some faces who will do your bidding for you, of course, for some millions in consideration. Shanghai-based Singham is now living in Shanghai. He supports 4 CCP propaganda sites that boost the party's overseas image, the Times reports. He is born to a Cuban mother and a Sri Lankan father in 1954. Singham grew up steeped in far-left politics. His father, Archibald Singham, taught political science at Brooklyn College and was the first scholar in residence at the New York State Martin Luther King Jr. Institute of Nonviolence in Albany, New York. Jody Evans was a far-left political leader herself before she wed him. She co-founded the anti-war non-profit Code Pink, whose members are known for wearing pink peace sign earrings and protesting the US invasion of Iraq. Evans is critical of the Chinese government, but she also launched the China is not our enemy campaign through Code Pink in 2020. Now she leads a series of webinars on Code Pink's YouTube page where she praises China. Well, no surprise there. Despite her staunch support of the Muslim residents in Gaza, Evans justifies the oppression of Uyghur Muslims in China. Yes, it's not the same, right? Of course. According to Evans, China's treatment of Uyghurs is not as bad as the US's at Guantanamo Bay. Look at the parallels here. Guantanamo Bay had people who had plotted to kill innocent Americans in the 9/11. And she wants to compare that with this. See, these people are thinkers. They can find any story, any branch to hang on to. Singham shares an office with the Maku Group. He's also a backer of pro-Chinese website NewsClick. We know that one well. Based in India, he reportedly promoted Chinese website Dongsheng News to his friends. Dongsheng News shares an address with the People's Forum. Wow, no surprise there. Though Singham's name is nowhere to be found on the People's Forum, whether it's on his website or any other information, documentation, like for example tax documents, the organization isn't shy about admitting they are taking his cash. Again, all this is legit, all this is above board. We have a Congress representative, Mike Gallagher, chairman of the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party, said Chinese media interests are sowing discord in the US. CCP used tools like Confucius Institutes on college campuses, TikTok's addictive algorithm, and organizations like those that Singham funds to divide and weaken US, says Gallagher. Those of you who don't use TikTok, and I don't know the amount of devastation it is creating in the younger demographic of United States and more or less the West. India was smart in banning TikTok, and in India, US is still dragging its feet on this. Despite the FCC commissioner himself writing to Google CEO and Apple CEO that you need to stop making TikTok available as an app for download. That's all we can do. Whoever is already downloaded can continue using it. But nothing has happened so far. You know why? Biden was told that if he does that, he will lose the youth vote. Well, go figure this. It's not that something is right or wrong. It is something as whether somebody can get elected or not. Where have I heard this before? Senator Marco Rubio asked the Department of Justice to investigate whether Singham and his non-profits complied with the FARA in his letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland. FARA is a Foreign Agents Representative Act. You need to register with that in order for you to be able to donate. I am sure that will reveal some interesting truths, but until that happens, we have to wait and see. According to public documents, Goldman Sachs operates a philanthropy arm that allows wealthy clients to donate large amounts to non-profits like the People's Forum. Maybe there's a hint here. Maybe I should make P-Gurus a non-profit. Maybe then I can go and seek donations. Although I really doubt if they'll give grants to an organization that seeks to look for truth. And truth can be a very inconvenient thing for many of these people. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.